My name is Digby Stridion, and I'm currently the United States Virgin Islands Culinary Ambassador and 2014-2015 Chef of the Year. Born and raised United States Virgin Islands, spent some time away, Germany, throughout the US, but St. Croix has always been my home. So growing up in St. Croix, it means so much to me. Just driving around and seeing the hills, the beaches, going to Armstrong's Ice Cream with my dad when they were at Smithfield and we're outside, and I know everybody knows that general term when you're outside, you say inside, inside. That's a big part of being a Virgin Islander. Going to the tide pools, understanding what it is to go to Cremus Park on a Sunday with your family, camping on the weekends. It's so much things that brings us together, because in St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John, what you notice is we always come together during holidays, and there's always a lot of food. It's like a feast, and sometimes it's not even a holiday. It's just people want to get together on a Sunday because we're all alive and we're all happy and we want to see each other. I went to Complex. I went to St. Croix Educational Complex back in '96 to 2000. Yeah, those were some of the best years of my life that helped mold me and helped me become an adult. Well, while I was at Complex, I started working at the Buccaneer. Yeah, one day my dad comes to school because I didn't want to I had a couple open slots where I could take some extra classes. But my dad decided it might be a good idea to start working. So they picked me up and they took me to the Buccaneer Beach Resort, and got me a job as a bellman. And I love the job as a bellman, but I can tell you every single night I watch Chef Mark Bartles and Derek and Terrell and all the chefs at the end of the shift walking out to the bar, talking with the waitresses and bartenders and having their meetings. And I don't know what it was. It's the first time seeing a chef jacket, but I just knew that I wanted to be over there. Well, after the Buccaneer, that was one of the points where I was trying to figure it out. So I ended up enlisting in the Air Force. I come from a family where every male figure in my family has been in the military. So I kind of had kind of had to go do that to get it done. And that was a great time in my life, The military definitely molded me with the rights, the wrongs, the mannerism, professionalism, learning how to talk to people, treating people well, professionalism again and again, the core values, integrity within self, excellence in all I do. It was an amazing time. After that, I got out and I went back home, and I spent time at different resorts. Then I went to North Carolina, where I spent some good time up there. And that's really where I started getting molded as a chef now. And I really fell in love with the regional food. I started realizing, okay, there's food in America now. Because at that point I knew about French cookbooks coming from St. Croix. I knew about the Italian cookbooks, but I never knew there was American food. So now this is the first time I'm realizing there's regional food. But I didn't understand why it's regional yet. I didn't understand the reason why it's regional is because of history, because this is what they had access to. So that's why you see field peas in the South. That's why they're eating like that, because that's what's there, so they're accustomed to that. And it all started making sense as I progressed in my journey. Years later, we keep moving forward, I get to Le Cordon Bleu. In between that, I'm working for chefs like Norman Van Aken, and I'm in Central Florida, and I'm walking into this restaurant where this guy he's taking plantains and he's emulsifying it with foie gras, and he's stuffing it in a chicken breast. He's putting plantain crisps, or chips as we call it, and it's on top of black beans. That's kind of like my food, because I would definitely take a chicken and season it and put that with rice and beans and a plantain on the side. So this guy, he's eating my food, he's making my food, but it's so beautiful. It's not what I'm used to. And it's that moment where I'm realizing the ingredients are important. It's important where you get your food from. There's definitely a similar concept of powering up. I remember when I first came in the game and I started cooking, I was in a lot of fashion field, I was working with the twins, Sherwin and Sheldon Robinson, and Rashidi. We're doing great events. I'm bringing out Vivica Fox. Not necessarily things that highlight you in a food aspect, but it builds you. It builds you to where now this is where Chef Digby comes in as the person you're talking to right now, because I'm talking to these people. So then I'm starting to have these opportunities where I'm working with Nicki Minaj and I'm working for Katy Perry now, so I'm powering up, my confidence builds. But it's really when I'm working now with Norman Van Aken and Chef Brandon Montgomery, and I'm doing dinners for Paul Bocuse now. And this is the greatest living chef. And my chef is cooking for him, and I'm there, and I'm realizing I'm a part of this. And I'm there because I deserve to be there, because I worked to be there. It's not by luck anymore. It's because you put your time in and you worked for it. And luck is gone now. You worked for that. Being invited to the James Beard House and knowing that your peers, they believe in you. I don't have a restaurant right now. We're in the process of building Balter right now as a chef owner, but they already know that, and they're a part of what I'm doing right now and what I'm trying to work to achieve, because they've seen it on ground zero and they've respected it, and they've realized, hey, this guy's really dedicated to something right now. And just by that, and going into a room now where Hugh Atchison's that room, Tommy Glackman from Flower and Water's in that room, Rashidi Nuri, who's, I mean, when it comes to urban farming, this guy, he's basically writing the book on this right now. And I'm in their presence. I'm on a board with these guys, talking to these guys, having conversations. And just to know that, I mean, that's a power up now. So when I go back to St. Croix, I take this stuff there. You believe in something. You believe in a cause, and you don't stop. You believe in it. You don't let other people change it. I remember having a conversation with Frandel Gerard in 2012. And the conversation was about food, the future of food, and it was at Richtery Farm after a slowdown dinner. I did 5 courses, and I actually had an opportunity for the first time to kind of see the development of what I was trying to do. She saw a Virgin Islander, this young guy, giving you the fresh tomatoes, stewed down with the allspices, with homemade cheese from the goats on St. Croix, on a tostones, you know? Everything was made there. And it was the first time she was seen it done that elegantly. So we're having this conversation about how we can do something. So she was telling me about Chant, and they had this Crucian fusion, and they brought down a chef, and she wanted me to be that chef. So it was the first time now someone's asking me to headline this major dinner. This is a really cool story. So we stay in contact with it, but over a year, the first event, it didn't come to fruition, you know. But we stayed in conversation, and the following year we made it happen. So they bring me down and we do 9 courses. And I think they really, at that night, we had over 60 people, and they loved it. Taste of St. Croix and the Sotheby's comes on board now, and they want to sponsor this local chef. Sotheby's is on board. Sotheby's Realty is saying, I want to sponsor Chef Digby Stridion, this little guy from the Virgin Islands. People in America are starting to see what we post. So then I get to sit down with the wonderful Beverly Doty and the commissioner. We had this great conversation. And I gave her my word, and I stand by that, and we laugh about it, is I told her, if you give me this opportunity, I would take it and run with it. But I made it clear to her that this would be like my first day cooking, my first day working, because I've already been your ambassador for years. I was your ambassador for a long time. It's great that we now get to accept the role now, and people can get to know me and know that I have that role. So we fast forward into the rum and rhythm. That's where it went down. So I knew what was on the table. So I'm not gonna say I went up there with the cool, we're just gonna have a great time. I knew what was on the table, know how important it was to make a show out there, as far as putting out the best possible food I can put out, because this is directly linked to my island. This could be something that can help change things. Well, I think it's safe to say that people know what red grout is now. People are starting to see that, you know? I had a great team behind me in New York. Me and Luana were out there on ground zero putting in some great, we were doing interviews. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. We weren't sleeping, we weren't resting. We were putting in work, and it showed. The things that I've achieved, the things that mean things to me, it actually meant something to my island, to where they took notice of it. And they said, can you represent us now? You've represented yourself in a manner in which we felt it already represented us. And to me, that's like a dream, more than anything I've done, probably other than a Michelin star. But to be recognized by the people that I love and that I care about in the place that means the most to me. And to know that I now represent that, I am the embodiment of that. There's no words for it. There's nothing I can say. There's not a thank you that means enough. I would work myself beyond measures with this job, because I truly believe that we are going to make a change in this world. I really believe that food is love and food will change things, and that we are on ground zero, and that this mission that we are on right now, it is going to change the world.